as we like to do in the build-up towards the World Cup. Every window we've come and we've delivered our tier list ranking of all the individuals that are fighting for a spot on the plane for the Socceroos to the 2026 World Cup. This is, of course, our November edition for the games against Venezuela and Colombia. And Jacob, it feels like there is a very different tone here. Obviously, the other windows where we've done this, it's been quite positive.
Yeah.
Lots of names being pushed forward. But we were having a brief chat before we started. There's only, a small handful of names that really are pushing for any significant improvement in our rankings after this window.
Yeah, and it didn't feel like any of the new entrants really, except maybe one, really made a name for themselves. Like that nobody burst onto the scene, and it just was a bit disappointing all around for the team, for the individuals, that nobody was able to really kick on, whether that's one of the new players or even one of the established ones, right? Who's maybe not 100% for sure going to the World Cup, but with a couple of good performances could maybe have sealed their spot. Like, it just feels like it was like the worst possible outcome, where we still don't really know who the best choices are, because it feels like every time we think it's somebody, there's a disappointing performance, or they just aren't able to improve on where they've been already. So yeah, it's been a tough one to try and figure out where to put everybody.
And so this, again, I really want to emphasize the whole narrative of the last 3 months has been, this is the experimentation phase. So as far as my theory goes, this is our long list. All of the faces that we have, I know we've got a category for it here, but you know what I mean. And Popovic has essentially said this in press conferences as well. Everyone who's been named in the last 3 windows, you're in the running. So we know these people, as we say, on the radar at the bare minimum, right? This is our group. There may be 2 or 3 bolters that come from absolutely nowhere that are not on this list to make the World Cup squad. But majority of the squad is now going to come from these faces. So we've got a final 8 fresh faces here at the bottom. Again, if you're listening on Spotify, you can switch over to video or check us out on YouTube to see the tier list in front of you. But the 8 new names: Craig Goodwin, Riley McGree, Patrick Beach, Kai Truen, Paul Okonexler, Cal Elder, Al Hassan Toure, and then James Overy as well. Let's start with Goody, I reckon, because I reckon he's a fascinating case, because he is the only capped Socceroo that came out of the A-League for this window.
Yeah.
And he was played at left wing back, and the experiment failed, and we've had that conversation. And obviously he's been playing in that 10 role at Adelaide. He's probably not far off it, but he didn't get an opportunity in the so-called experimental window. And for, the Socceroo that scored Australia's first goal at the last World Cup against France, I'm not sure how solid he is in the squad selection for this World Cup.
I think it would be really, really, really harsh if he doesn't make the World Cup. But you can also kind of understand it from, the viewpoint of where does he fit. I've not been overly impressed with him as a 10 at Adelaide this season. I think he's kind of been wasted in that central role. Maybe hasn't quite had the impact that he would have had he been in some of those wide positions that the likes of Yaya Dakuli has found himself in this season. It wasn't great for him, was it? Especially that game against Venezuela, where it's like, okay, this is his kind of chance now to go, well, maybe there's better options than me in the 10. But I have the ability to play in this kind of wing-back role. I've played there before when I was younger. Obviously he's been a left winger most of his career, so the way that the wing-backs are used in Popovic's system, they're very similar to wingers anyway. It felt like it was kind of a good idea, but like you said, the experiment pretty clearly failed, and I think it goes to show kind of the weakness of having somebody like him in that position. So we
can't put him any lower than the long list. That would be disrespectful.
Yeah. Like, I think you've got that experienced leadership. His set piece, delivery is insanely good. That's one of the big benefits of having him in the team, is that he's going to deliver a corner or a free kick very, very well.
Yep.
Like you said, he was the goal scorer against France in the last World Cup. He just has that ability to just kind of appear and score a goal.
He just is a Socceroo, isn't he?
He is, but it feels like he hasn't really done enough to go, he's definitely going. Like I said, it would be harsh for him to miss out, I feel, but you could also kind of understand it with the way that it's gone for him. So,
all right, I think we'll leave him there, shall we? On the long list for now. Riley McGree. Now, I think straight away I'm putting him up in good chance. I think he was one of the few good players in the Venezuela game.
100%.
And coming off injury, he's already fought his way back into a Middlesbrough team that's flying.
Yeah.
Again, I think maybe excessive to put him on the plane straight away because we can only do one of those in
Only
episode.
do one. And we might even struggle to do that. But
but good chance I feel is appropriate.
yeah, and I think he offers something unique in that role as well, where he is more comfortable being a bit central, whereas kind of some of the players that Popovic has tried there have either been kind of that inverted winger, right, where they prefer being out wide, or they've been a deeper midfielder, more of a, kind of an 8 playing a bit further forwards, whereas McGree is that central 10. So, no, it feels like a good match. And we definitely saw that with, like you said, in that game against Venezuela. When he got on the ball and he turned towards goal, it felt like he had that real intent to kind of progress the ball through the final third rather than, as we were talking about earlier, with the midfield duo just typically kind of retaining possession. He looked to actually try and bring it forwards a little bit more. So it was refreshing. It was new. He was, one of the few players that really actually kind of stood out for a good reason in this window. So I'd agree with good chance. I think he's he stays fit, and there's a very, very good chance he's at the next World Cup.
Just as well for viewers, I realise I didn't go through this, but if you're listening on the podcast and you're not watching the screen, our 5 tiers, we have on the plane, which we've locked in, 7 players so far. We can't take them off that list. Then good chance, the long list, Smokey, and on the radar. So there are our 5 tiers of players. Now another one, feel free to argue with me here, but another player I actually want to put on the good chance list is Patrick Beach.
Beach, yeah.
I understand I have some bias in this area, so again, I'm open to being talked off this particular ledge, but I think Popovic openly said in the press conference talking about the squad that in this moment of time, Patrick Beach is ahead of the other options for number 3 in terms of a Tom Glover, who still doesn't have a club, and a Joe Gauchi as well. So for this particular window, I think he's sitting at a good chance. Again, it doesn't mean we can't move him down later if things change, but I think off the back of what officially was a man of the match performance against Venezuela as well on his debut game, I think he warrants a good chance.
And I think there's 3 things that help him out. The one you pointed out there, where Popovic has said he's ahead of everyone else, so that helps him. Number 2, the very strong performance he had against Venezuela. And number 3, Izzo did not look great against Colombia. So, we know Izzo's pretty clearly number 2 at one point. It's the consideration of, is he actually the number 1 goalkeeper for this side? If he starts to fall his way, that brings Beach into even more consideration for Popovic. So I think again, he and McGree really the only 2 for me that actually did well this window. So I definitely agree with you in good chance.
Okay, so we've got 5 more names down that list. Do you have a particular strong opinion on any of those 5? Truen, Okonexla, Elder, Toure.
Look, Elder was fine. I don't think that's about all that can be he just was okay. Alhassan Toure should not have been in the squad. I think that was an incredibly ambitious pick by Popovic, and kind of goes against a little bit of the rhetoric that he's put out there about, I want to see consistent performances, and it's like Toure scores 1 hat-trick and all of a sudden he's in the team. I love Alhassan Toure, don't get me wrong, but it felt like a bit of a weird pick at the time, and I think kind of indicated that with not such great performances. So Kai Truen may be the only one I'd have above on the radar. And that's just solely because of his versatility. I think the other 4, Ocon Engsler, I think it was pretty clear that he wasn't quite at the level that was required. Again, no denying he's a tremendous player, but it did look at times like he was just outclassed in the midfield, especially in that game against Venezuela. And it's disappointing because, again, he is a tremendous player, but, he's not going to get in ahead of the likes of a Jackson Irvine, of, an O'Neill, of a Metcalf, of a, whoever else might be in contention for one of those midfield spots.
Yazbek,
Ballard,
probably,
Yazbek, even,
Ballard.
Ballard.
Yeah.
Like it just feels like he's not at that level yet. He's still young though, so there's plenty of potential. But the only one I could really, James Overy, did he even play?
No, he didn't
even play.
No.
So, and that was, I think we spoke about that in the lead into the window of, this is just Popovic's thing of getting somebody in for training for one window, and then perhaps in the next one, if he's impressed, he gets some minutes.
Yeah, and he's really for the future. Oh,
100%. Right? Yeah, he's like, not even played senior minutes yet, has he? He's like,
no, like a Kai Truan or an Ocon Exeter are like for the future, but maybe if there's like an injury or two.
Yeah.
James Overy is seriously like next window material.
He's like the next World Cup. Is where they're looking out for him.
I'm comfortable putting all these four on the radar. So James Overy, Al Hassan Toure, Cal Elder, and Ocon Exler. We've got double rows here.
Double row.
Like that. We're gonna have to find someone to push up. I don't like going into double rows. Okay, Paul Ocon, you're a smoky. It's just because I need all the rows.
Just because of your symmetry.
Yep, but Kai Truan, I think this is between smoky or long list for me, because I feel like playing both games, he's clearly picked as a defender rather than a central midfielder, which makes sense. I think he can play both roles.
I rate him more as a defender than as a midfielder anyway.
I know you do. I see the opposite way of that, but I think like in this team, he's more likely to play a central defender, and then maybe longer term, his ceiling is higher as a defensive midfielder.
Interesting.
But then like Jason Guerrier gets injured. Does that bump him up a place? I think the other thing we really have to start thinking about is for the likes of a Jason Guerrier, and there's one or two other examples in this picture we see, is playing in Japan, they do not have another season.
No.
Because they're doing this whole transitioning calendar thing. They don't play for the first 6 months of next season. I'm sure they're going to organise some kind of mini tournament or whatever, but it won't be a regular league. So as much as it affects A-League players in this little period that don't get picked because they're not in season, I think it affects the likes of a Jason Guerrier and a Mitch Duke as well. Yeah. So, I don't know, does Kai Truan there get bumped up a spot?
I think, look, you've got to also compare him to the people that we have in that smoky tier, right? And it's like an Adrian Segicic who I don't think he even made an appearance, right? Ryan Teague, who hasn't been in...
Well, Sega's been injured. He's just coming back.
Well, yeah. Ryan Teague, who hasn't been in the Socceroos squad in the last couple of windows.
No.
Sami Silveira, who was pretty clearly just a stopgap to test something out at right wing back. It feels like he's probably above those guys, right? Where you can see the purpose that he fills for this team, and where some of those more senior players are getting injured at Jason Guerrier or Miloš Degenek didn't look elite. There's certainly the opening for him, I think, in this squad that would put him above those guys, in my opinion.
Okay. Can I take that argument and raise you another one?
Sure.
Those two players you named there, Ryan Teague and Sam Silveira, I'm proposing we send them down. So if we send them down and slot Truan into Smokey, does that work?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, that works. I think better than putting Truan in the long list.
Okay.
You're going to break your own rule of...
I'm going to have to live with these. I realise we had too many players. Paul Ocon, you're coming down as well.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have let you get up in the first place.
Yeah.
So there are all our new players on the board and where we currently are. So our on the radar is pretty big now, but these are a lot of players that have come in for a squad or two and then jumped out. I guess we said we're just going to go open season, right?
Yeah.
I guess maybe just anything in that kind of on the radar smoky category first, those kind of fringe players. Sega, Robinson, I think Noah Botic could even fall down as well.
Yeah, I think so as well.
We drag him down. Is there anyone on the radar that we'd look up?
Is there anyone that you'd move up? Yeah.
None of these guys got minutes. D'Agostino went home early. Devlin didn't play.
Yeah.
Milanovic, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're in the top three rows. So on the plane, all those players are locked in. We can't move them. We've got good chance and a long list to move around. Do you want to put forward a name? Because we have to name someone for the plane in this episode. Who are your candidates, baby?
Are you going to hate me if I say Mohamed Toure?
Yes. He didn't do anything special in this window to grant it.
He looked great against Venezuela.
He looked good, but
he looked good against Venezuela.
I think there are stronger candidates.
What? Okay, what? So, Lewis Miller?
Lewis Miller was already up. We put him up last. You and Christian fought hard for Lewis Miller. I didn't want him, but you guys put him up.
You're right. Yeah, he's already up.
I think Aiden O'Neill. Aiden O'Neill's my pick from this group to put on the plane because I think him and Jackson Irvine are our midfield two, if fit. I think they are our best two players. I think the way they combined early on against Colombia, I think he's on the plane.
Yeah.
And Mo Toure has been given a lot of faith. I will give him that. He's clearly the preferred candidate. But
I'll go O'Neill. That's fine. I can see that. Because
no one else? Because I do have one other idea.
He's a starting midfielder. I don't even... they probably, most of them probably will go to the World Cup.
That's
but
true. It is true.
I just feel like I'm looking at them and I'm like, I can't make a strong enough case for them. You know, there's nobody that's maybe better than them, but that's not a good enough reason in my mind. So,
what about Miloš Dejanek?
Yeah, see, I don't know about him.
Really?
I don't know. I'm not sure where, and this could just be me, but I feel like there's just been so much focus on, oh, look at him, he's great, he's this great,
leader.
Leader and custodian for the game, and he really champions football in this country. And it's like, yeah, but okay, is that enough reason alone to get him in the squad? Like,
well, I think
he's been okay, like he's been serviceable in defence, but I feel like Cam Burgess is in there ahead of him. Ali Chikati is in there ahead of him. I feel like you've got the likes of, say, potentially a Kai Truin, if he can continue to perform for City, he could perhaps get in ahead of Dejanek. I don't know. Yeah.
I think the argument for Dejanek comes actually from when we didn't have him against the US, and that backline looked unorganised.
That's true. That's true.
And I think having that voice in the middle of the three is so crucial. And you say Chikati and Burgess go in ahead of him. I think they go along with him, right? And the bigger question that I think we're absolutely going to have to ask in March is, does a fit Harry Souttar come in and replace him?
I hadn't even considered that, yeah.
I'm at the point where I don't know if he does. I just think Dejanek has been so important to this team over the last 6 to 9 months that Harry Souttar is going to have a really tough time replacing him.
Yeah, I agree. It's not going to be easy for him. For Souttar to come straight back into this team. But like, there is that competition for that spot. There is the possibility that Souttar comes back in. And okay, you get Matt Ryan back, and that's your leader that's organising the defensive line.
Potentially.
Like, it's just, yeah. I feel like there's too many variables. I'd much prefer saying we'll pick O'Neill for the plane than going with Dejanek.
Okay, all right. Well, then in that case, I'll veto Mo Toure. You can veto Dejanek for now,
and we'll send
Aidan O'Neill. Congratulations, mate. Ramble Australia said so. So you got your ticket. Don't have to wait for Popovic to tap you on the shoulder. Off to North America next June. There you go. So we've got 8 names now confirmed on the plane. So for those playing all at home, Jackson Irvine, Matt Ryan, Ali Chikati, Jordy Boss, Nesta Irankunda, Paul Izzo, Lewis Miller, and Aidan O'Neill are our 8 of, I think, 23 in the squad that go. I think it was 26 for the last World Cup, but I'm assuming that's going to be brought back down after COVID, I think. I don't know. Who knows what FIFA will do. We're still waiting on this whole pot 2, pot 3 thing. Any other... I'll put forward some names in that kind of middle pack that I want to move down, actually. I had one player, Kai Rouse, that I was considering moving up.
I had the same thing. I was like, Even
as we were talking about him before, though, I kind of talked myself out of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think he absolutely proved in the Colombia game that he's the 3rd best left back. Like, he's a better option than Craig Wood. And then I'm thinking, but wait, if Bajic and Boss are both fit, he's the 3rd best left back.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't make it.
You can't play him anywhere. I mean, you could maybe play him as that left-sided centre-back, maybe.
Yeah. But then Kai Truin, I think, is a better option.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, it doesn't feel like you can move him up. No. I feel like it's harsh to move him down. Because he's been solid and serviceable.
For sure.
But I was like, I don't think... I came into this thinking, he's probably one we can move up. But no, I agree. Definitely not. One you could definitely move down, I think, is Daniel Alzani.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't believe you guys were campaigning so hard for him last time.
Like,
he's definitely down in smoky.
I think he's gone down.
Is he even a smoky?
Is he even playing for his club? I know there's problems where they they signed way too many foreign players, and so
really
that's
do a quick
part of the
flash
reason he
score
can't
search
play.
because I don't want to mess up my browser for this screen share. But Arzani, yeah, look, he's if he's not getting minutes, I know there was like rumors of him getting a move potentially. I think if he gets that move in January, then we can consider putting him back up.
He did come out and say, yeah, he'd be stupid not to look for that move because he does want to go to the World Cup. But so he last played on the 26th of October.
So a month ago.
And he got 45 minutes, and he's been not in the squad since then. Or actually, my apologies, 29th of October. He played 19 minutes. So he's basically not played in a month.
All right. I reckon maybe pending transfer, like knowing that could happen, I think the smoky category is still all right with. The other arguments, and this is going back to the whole Japan thing as well, Mitch Duke.
Yeah.
If Toure is clearly the number one striking option, and we've got one or two players in behind, like we haven't even seen the likes of a Zach Sapsford yet.
No. And it's, we've moved Noah Botic down, but I still feel like there's that potential there for him. I saw some people saying, should have got Archie Goodwin in for this window because he's already in America. He's come off the back of a really good season. It would have been a good opportunity to get him in. It does feel like there's a lot of those younger players that are kind of nipping at the heels a bit for that.
And I feel like we're just as likely to put like Martin Boyle at striker, for the last 20 minutes of the game.
I think with the way that the team plays, you could even put like a Riley McGree there, right? And it wouldn't fundamentally change the way that the team looks to play. So I think, maybe you do drop him down. He's not going to play for a while. He
feels a bit harsh, but sorry, the Japan thing just came back to my head as well.
Yeah. He's just not going to play for like 6 months.
Okay. I think what have we got? So Burgess, Metcalf, Boyle, Toure, Dejanek, McGree, Beach. You can't move any of those down, I don't think.
No, they're all solid.
In the long list, we have Rouse, we covered him, Yazbek, Rustic, Guerrier. I don't, even with the injury, I don't think maybe you can move him down. Italiano, Ballard, and then Goodwin, Duke.
I think Italiano and Ballard maybe you could move, but again, it feels harsh.
Ballard is... Are you saying Ballard down?
Yes.
Oh, right. I was thinking maybe he was the one you could
thinking up. Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
If anything. Because he came on for
was
30 minutes in the Venezuela game.
Yeah, I just feel like he's kind of the victim of circumstance again, where it's like there's just so many options.
There is. So what about midfield again? So we got Irvine, O'Neill,
definitely.
We've actually got no one else in the good chance category that's in that centre mid position.
That's true.
And then we got in the long list is Yazbek and Ballard.
And
and he got picked ahead of
Yazbek. I don't know if I'd put him over Yazbek because Popper really likes Yazbek.
He does, but Yazbek, despite playing in America, he didn't get picked in this window. Was it because he was deep in the MLS Cup?
Might have been.
I know they got eliminated, but I don't know how recent it was as well. Maybe that was a consideration. I'm not sure.
But it does, it's like... I feel like wherever... Like Yazbek is, Ballard has to be just behind, just close behind, because Yazbek's clearly, I think, preferred over Ballard, considering Yazbek came in that first window, I think it was under Popovic, right, with the game in Adelaide, and he brought Yazbek in. Yeah. And everyone's like, "Why are you picking him over Ballard?"
Okay,
and so I feel like it's kind of those two are there or thereabouts in Popper's mind. Like he prefers Yazbek, but it's difficult to not justify Ballard in that same position.
So as we are then.
I'd say so.
All right, very good. There you go. There is our Socceroos World Cup squad tier list for November. Aidan O'Neill we've put up on the plane this month. I don't know when we're going to do the next one of these. Maybe we'll do one in January, February. After a little bit more of the A-League season, and then obviously we've got the Socceroos window in March as well.
Should we do one where we add in an extra tier where it's like, here's our random crazy picks that we think might be in the upcoming squad or something like that,
Yeah, something like that. Otherwise, we don't do anything for 3 months.
Yeah.
So we'll think of something and get some club performers to throw in as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously March, and then we're going to have to fill out the planes. So there you go. If you enjoyed this video, click this link down in the corner as well. We'll take you to the full podcast of this episode, where we talk about the look forward to the A-League weekend and Melbourne City sweeping in the Women's Champions League as well.